Let's get rolling. Oh, this is not going well. Let's get started. That feels so formal. Ooh, I think this lighting, it looks decent. I mean, I'm literally so new here. I don't know what lighting looks like, glamorous or whatnot, but I think this is nice. It's like a cozy, intimate setting with like the setting sun and you see whatever. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get into this chatty slash motivational sort of video in which I'm basically gonna talk about some motivational tips of how I motivate myself, how you can probably try and play off of those and like develop your own strategies for motivating yourself. And if my voice seems kind of low or like not that active in this video, it's basically because I'm demotivated myself. Big irony, but we're all literally in the same boat and we're gonna work through this together. The first thing that I want to say about motivation is that motivation is temporary. It does not last. Like literally you can be motivated for 10 seconds and after those 10 seconds are over, you'll be like, oh no, I'm demotivated again. I don't want to do this. I don't want to send that email. I don't want to go make food. Whatever the task that you're, feeling demotivated to do. But I want to stress about, what was the word? Discipline and consistency. Discipline and consistency is very much more important than motivation, because some days you're just not going to feel like working, but you have to because you have that assignment due, or because you promised that friend you would call them and then you have to call them or whatever. It's about telling yourself that you made a liability or you made a promise to yourself that you would do this, and it's just sitting down and doing it. Next, I want to talk about motivation and mood. A lot of the times I hear people say that, oh, I don't feel like doing this today and I'm just not in the mood, and that is the first basis of procrastination and getting into that whole loop of just not getting things and like those things just piling up in your brain for no good reason. These are the times that distinguish people who actually get things done and people who just don't, or like have to cram in everything and then just stress themselves out for no good reason. You just have to tell yourself that if you are going to do it in the near future, might as well just do it now if you can. And if you anyways have to do something, like if you anyways have to study biology, even if you don't want to, just do it well. I mean, at least try your best. If you know you're not good at a particular subject or you're not good at something, but you are being forced to do it, might as well at least try and put in the effort so that when you finish, you won't have to regret that you didn't work hard and there was something lacking in your hard work. And before I actually start with my actual tips, I also want to say that motivation equals you. Literally, like I said before, motivation is temporary. It doesn't last. It comes in outbursts, but sometimes you listen to a song and you're all hyped and you get into the mood of doing things. But that also will not outrun itself and present itself every morning. Like basically, I heard this somewhere, I don't know where, but it was like motivation was being compared to taking a shower. You have to take a shower every single day to clean your body. The same way you have to motivate yourself and bring that discipline in your sort of work ethic every single day, and nobody is going to tell you to do that. Nobody is going to do that for you. This video is just designed to help you realize that you have to do it, and these are the ways you can do it, but ultimately it's you. Everything is you and it's for you and it's about you, and only you can do it. Let's talk about tip number 1, which is experiment. Everybody experiments with their life in the sense that they see what times work for them, what kind of setting and environment works for them, and what kind of people they want to be surrounded with through going through a certain sort of age, and not even age, experience. Like we all have our experiences and we determine what works for us, what doesn't work for us. Similarly, even for motivation, you have to literally experiment and you have to see what kinds of things motivate you generally so that you can do them often, so that you can get motivated often, and what doesn't. For example, I get motivated whenever I speak to certain mentors in my life, or whenever I see or hear BTS songs. Literally, I mean, I can't define what element in either one of those two examples makes me want to work hard, but it just does. And now that I have come to that realization that this thing is working for me, I try to do it as much as I can so that I can push myself to go and finish that task that I have to. Next, let's talk about breaking your tasks down. Literally, as I described in some of my previous videos, all the links will be present. You have to break down your tasks in order for you to have the feeling that, okay, you're done with this and you can move on in life. I think planning and breaking down your tasks literally helps you a lot. I'm not going to go into the details of that in this video because I have made previous videos regarding to that, and you can always go and check them out if you'd like to. But moving on, in the same sort of zone of, compartmentalizing all your tasks, I also want to say that sometimes things are just not in your hands. Like, sometimes things don't work out for you and you probably couldn't have changed anything about them, or you feel that, okay, this task is coming, but you can't literally do anything about it. You can't prepare, or you can't study, or you can't do anything about it. And there's just no point stressing about that if you literally can't do anything about it. I know it's easier said than done. I stress about things all the time when it comes to things, especially that are not in my hands. But we all have to sort of come to this realization that, well, if you can't do anything about it, you just can't. Fine example of the previous point would be the pandemic. The pandemic that's going on, nobody envisioned that this was going to happen to us and that we were going to be stuck in our homes, and for a lot of us, we wouldn't be able to go to university. Our first year of university, we would have to sit in front of a laptop or an iPad or whatever to take our classes. Nobody envisioned that. But now that we are in that situation, obviously there will be times where you feel bad about it, but can you do anything about it? You really can't. You can wear a mask and you can do those small things that are literally in your zone of what you can do. But when it comes to things like, will you be able to go next semester, or I'm feeling bored, I need to meet my friends, I have all of that. You have other ways that you can make best out of the situation. You can always talk to your friends again via a camera or whatever, and you can invest a lot of your time in projects that you sort of procrastinated and didn't get done before the pandemic, but now, so that because you have all this extra time, you can be productive in so many different ways. So it's just about making the best of the situation that you're in, because yelling at yourself and telling yourself that why is this happening, and cribbing about it to a certain extent, after a certain point where you just have to get over it and you have to realize that cribbing's not going to work and that you have to move on, because guess what, life goes on. A major part that comes with motivating yourself actually lies in the start of a task. Literally, when I have to write an assignment, the hardest part, at least for me, is reading through that prompt and figuring out how do I start an essay. But once, even if it's a crappy start, but I've just started writing an essay, I can always go into the flow and then change the crappy start later. And that actually applies with almost anything and everything. Literally, the hardest part of waking up is getting out of bed. But once you're out of the bed, you can literally go about, take that shower, cook breakfast, get on with your day. It's always in the start. Somehow you have to come up with techniques that just make you want to do it. What I like to do is I always force myself. I always tell myself, it's just these 5 seconds that I have to, take off that blanket and get out. It's just those 5 seconds. After that, you're gonna be fine and you're gonna get those things done. Just keep reminding yourself of that. How I like to motivate myself in terms of studying is a lot on the environment I study in. I always like to study in one particular place, and that is usually my desk. I never like to study on the bed because that just makes me lazy and motivates me to do the opposite thing, which is to sleep or lie down or scroll through Instagram or do any of those things that are gonna make me very, very procrastinating thingies. I don't like doing all that. That's why I always study at my desk, or when COVID was not there, go to a library, sometimes even go to a cafe. I still do that sometimes. But find a space that you're comfortable working in. And what I like to do is I really decorate my space with like pictures of BTS, pictures of my friends, pictures of my family, and for some reason those things just make me want to work. Like if I'm like having this like brain freeze where I just don't know what I can write in this essay, and I just I take a pause, I look towards the right, and I just look beautiful Jimin's face. Jimin's my favorite member of BTS. And you know, I just like breathe for those 5 seconds and then I get back to work. It somehow just works. I'm not saying that the sentence which I couldn't think of just naturally appears, but I'm more motivated to find that sentence and make it fit into my essay. Always when you're in the middle of an important work that you have to do and you feel like, you know, you don't want to do it, I think reminding yourself of why you started doing the work in the first place is very important. Equally important is envisioning the final result. Just like sit back and envision what that work is going to look like when you've worked hard at it and you've finished it off. Let your future self thank your present self. You know, let your future self thank your old self for doing the work nicely and finishing it off so that your future self can rest or look forward to other things that you really want to do or accomplish in that day. Next is the point of rewarding yourself, whether that's in the form of taking breaks, whether that's in the form of going and hanging out with your friends, whether that's in the form of sleeping or anything that you like doing. I mean, all those things add value to your day and all those things are important to you as long as they feel like a good use of your time to you. Ultimately, we all have our own time. For one person, sleeping might not be that important. For me, it is. I like to sleep a lot. So I work in a way where I can reward myself that extra sleep or that adequate amount of sleep which I want to give myself as a reward. So whenever you feel demotivated, keep bribing yourself and keep telling yourself that, oh, if you finish this, then you're gonna get that reward pretty soon. And the sooner you get your work done, the sooner you'll be rewarded. Next is this belief that I run my life with. That's a bit exaggerated, but it's the belief that you always you wake up determined and you sleep with being satisfied with your day. Like, the feeling I hate the most in the world is when I know that I have work left that I couldn't do, not because life happened and there were some complications, but because I couldn't do them. I don't like having that regret when I go to sleep, you know, on any day. So I always plan and, you know, break my day down and I try and accomplish whatever, however small or big a task is. If I plan it for that day, I just try and get it done. And another thing tying into this is I always compare myself only to myself. Obviously, I get inspired from a lot of people and I try to better myself and improve myself. But I don't always look at other people and be like, oh, why can't I be like this? Why can't I be like that? I always compare myself to just myself. And I know myself. I know what my limits are. I know whether I can push myself in certain situations and whether I can't push myself in certain situations. And I think that's what matters more. Don't get into the toxic habit of comparing yourself to other people, because ultimately it's your life and it's literally, I don't even know what else to say. It's your life. Why are you even bothered to compare it to anybody else? Unless, of course, it's to take inspiration and apply it in your own manner, in your own life, which is again to better yourself for yourself only, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Remember to keep reminding yourself of why you are doing certain things. And if they're important, you're ultimately gonna get them done. Remember that. Remember the feeling, or envision the feeling, you know, that you're gonna get once you're done with the work. And just keep seeking inspiration in your life, whether it's from anybody, anything like that. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Comment down below which, you know, tip you think was the most useful for you, or if you have any other suggestions that you would like to make and contribute, please do that. And please do subscribe to my channel, because if you're not doing that, then what are you doing? But yeah, just do it and have a great day. Always keep smiling. Bye.